Hello everybody, welcome to another video of Learn Together. Today we will look at the basics of a web page. So you must have seen the websites for various reasons, and you could see a lot of content there. A lot of content get changed dynamically, but we will start with very basic elements of a web page. What does a web page contain? Or why do we use the web page? It is the modern way of accessing the documents, accessing the information available in the service or in the cloud. We will talk about what is server, what is client in our future videos. For today, we will focus on the very basics of the web page. So what is on a web page? Well, it's a page which you can see on your favorite browser, and it gives you the information that you are looking for in a certain fashion or systematic structure. And the structure is defined by the developer or the whatever is suits based on the content that is being presented on the web page. So every page has its own, or depending on the type of the information is being presented, page could be having a different structure or different design. And people get a lot of creative ideas and they implement it and it looks nice. So before we get there, how we can create such pages? I think it is very necessary for one to understand the basics of the web page. Today we will try and look at a static web page. When I say static web page, it is just available on my machine. It is not accessible outside. If someone has to access it from anywhere, then I'll have to host it in the publicly available website. So that is something which we will cover in, try to cover in future videos, how that works. Okay, so today we will be just looking at the basics of the web page, and we'll try and create one of the page and see various things about the page. So web page contains at the bare minimum HTML. HTML is the short form for the hypertext markup language. So it's a markup language, so which is understood by the browser, and it has various tags, what we call. We will look at it, what is tag and what does these do and how do we write them. Everything we will look at about the HTML. And the other thing is, before we go to CSS, HTML gives you various tags or various tools so that you can structure your web page and present the content. But when you just use the HTML, that doesn't look so worse. It's basically it's a white and black. So if you want to add some color to it, some styling to it, some animation to it, we need the other components, CSS and JavaScript. So these are the basic components or basic elements of a web page. So here CSS stands for cascaded style sheet. We will look at that as well, maybe in future videos, or we'll see how much we can cover today. And the JavaScript, the HTML is a static page, And CSS gives the beautification tools for an HTML page. But then that is just can create with HTML and CSS. You can just create a static page. There is no no functionality, dynamic interaction, right? So for that, we need something called JavaScript, which will give us the ability to add the different functionalities. Basically, it adds, brings the dynamic page becomes dynamic in nature with the help of JavaScript. So we will look at that one as well later. But let's jump into how an HTML page can be developed and how it looks and what we can do with CSS. Very basic things today we will be covering. Okay. Here is a simple HTML page with few tags, few content, and I am using an editor which gives me an ability. As I make the changes, it just previews the appearance of this page in a HTML, I mean in a browser. But I always have an ability here with this button here, which can directly launch the page in a browser. Like when I click on this, it brings up this browser. The local browser that I use is Chrome browser. So let's go back to our HTML page. So what is this? This is how a basic HTML page looks. This is one of all these things what you see, all these are called tags, HTML tags. And most of the tags will have a closing tag. There is an opening tag and a closing tag. Well, exception, there are few exceptions like this. This is just a tag which indicates or which is informing the rendering browser that it is an HTML page. And this is the beginning of our HTML page, and it's the HTML tag, and it starts here, and that is the one which ends at the bottom of the page, bottom of this file. So everything, rest of the tag should fall within this. And here is the head tag. Head tag will contain information about the page, like starting from the title, and then there is something called another tag you can see, the meta tag. Here you could have multiple meta tag depending on the kind of the page that will be utilized by the some of the, I mean, it's for the information, it is for some rendering tricks, or for the helping the search engines, which we will cover in future topics. This is here. It is in this page. It's an indication that the content of this page is using the character set UTF-8. So with this help, it is indicating that there may be containing, it's not just, it may not be just English. There are certain languages content which use the UTF-8 character. So it is telling browser to render that content properly. And the next tag is a title tag. So this tells, okay, what is the title of this page? And whatever the text that we put between this opening title tag and ending title tag, that will appear on the browser's header. And I will show you in a moment how it shows up. Okay. And this is the head. I guess think about it, it's like you have a head and then there's a body. The body is the actual content of the page where you can write. Like here, this is one we have written here. So this is a header tag. We call it a header tag, H1. header tag, and you can see the whatever the content that I have put between header tag appearing is in bold, and font sizes are big. So that is how you render the h1 tag content. Similarly, we have the other tags called paragraph. So in a document, it is we always use the paragraph to show the content. It's not just one single page, right? So P gives us the tag we use to separate the parameter, or I mean paragraph. The contents are separated accordingly. Like here, this is the one. This is a paragraph with basic simple text content, and then this is another paragraph. And if you can look at it, look at the page here, how it appears. And the same thing you can observe even in the browser. It's exactly same thing. It's just that it's in full screen. You can see everything here. But then nonetheless, here this is uh, uh, giving us the fair idea how a page looks. So this is pretty good feature of this editor, an HTML editor. Okay. So this is very basics of the page. And on our HTML page, this is a static page. There's nothing here. It just can show you access this page. It just shows that content and you can read it. Nothing much you can do here. For anything that you need to add any dynamics on this, there are multiple ways to do it, which we will look at in a minute. Okay. Here is further changes I made to this page, and you can look at the paragraph is put, plain paragraph is put between the new tag strong, and this is the opening tag, and this is an ending tag. And the basic text is also put in another tag called EM, which stands for emphasize. And I have, if you can look at, there is a style attribute, style property, and it has color and color value is being given. This is the value of the color, so some color in it's a hexadecimal value. So it's basically I would be covering how the hexadecimal color code works, and we can look at more in detail. For now, you can think this it will always have four alpha. I mean, three set of alphabet starting from 00 to FF. FF stands for 15 and 0 stands for 0. So right now, this if you can look at on the right side, this line has changed now. The paragraph is in word paragraph is in little bold, and basic is in italics in font, and its color is not black. It is orange, I would say, or pink. And similarly, there's another paragraph I have added here, and this is a little different. It has additional tag here, which is a tag A, which is called as anchor tag, and we use the anchor tag to provide the link to another page or another website, another location. It could be anything. It could be another website or a page within the current website, or it could be linked to another shared location. It could be anything. So the way it works is anchor tag, and then there is a property called href, and you provide the link of the page where you want user to access. So this is how it looks. Now let's go and look at how does it look on the browser. Okay, let me refresh this page here. Okay. I think I did not save it. Changes. Let me save my changes and go back to my browser. And now reload it. But there you go. You can see the changes are reflecting now. Because unless save it, the browser won't know what is the changes were made, right, on the source page, source file. Okay, here one thing I missed earlier. So you can look at this tab has this name, the title that we used in the title tag. Like if I go back and as I make small change here, I just add exclamatory sign and let me save this. I just saved this page. Now go back. See, it is not reflecting my changes yet. Now if I go back and reload this, and you can see that exclamatory signs appearing now. But here it doesn't appear because H1, this title on the page document itself is coming from H1 tag where I have not added the exclamatory sign. This tab always uses the content that is available within the title tag. So it will, there's no other functionality. And we could dynamically change the title of the page based on the conditions that we could look at it in the when we come to JavaScript. So here there are a few things to note here. One, this anchor tag gives you the ability to provide a link to another page. And very importantly, we already started looking at the CSS now, but it's in a little crude method. So here it is this is an inline styling. It's called. So since you want only color for this specific text, so you can use this attribute here and say, okay, this is the color I want. But let's say if we want to repeat this in multiple places, then there are different ways to use these style sheets. So that is what the style sheet gives you the ability to beautify your page. There are a lot of things you can do with CSS. You can play around with it, and it starts with simple styling and simple beautifying, but then it gets too complicated as you go, and results are really wonders. Yeah, a lot of things you can do with CSS. And HTML, there is a lot to learn in the HTML. We will try to cover a lot more tags. There are ample number of tags for different things. Like we have table tag, we have linking tags, or we have bullet items, or ordered list, unordered list, right? So the div tags within, and tags can within the tags can play a different role. Okay, so just to go back to our header tags. So this is a H1, right? Just to quickly make a couple of changes here. I want to show, let me add here another, oh, sorry. Right, let me change this to H2. So this is the header tag 2, but I'm going to change this to text, something else, visit to, let's say, NASA. Okay. And let me save this. You are already seeing how does it look here, but you would like to see it on the browser. The reason that you should be looking at in the actual browser, because the content of these pages could appear in different browser. as we can see that here, this is very basic content, basic pages, basic text tags we are using. There's no complicated tags we are yet to apply. So most of these things will be very similar on all browsers. But then we have different devices where you can access these pages. So it will get a little tricky as we want to cover multiple pages with the same content, same logic. So we have various tools for that in CSS. It provides us, it empowers us how to cover all kind of devices, which we will be looking at in the coming future. And this is a very basic HTML page. Hope it gives you a good understanding of how an HTML page works. And we will be looking at more of additional tags of the HTML and what they can do, how they can be used, and then maybe take up further on the CSS, how the styling can be applied on different tags. So those are we will be covering up in the future videos. Thank you.